Welcome back to BCB Live. You got producer Sir Rick and Drive Safe Dave.
Assistant producer.
We have our buddy from Canada. Hey, are you impressed with our show? Let me tell you, both times now, we're like strike one and strike two. Hey, good morning, Josh. How are you, buddy?
Really, really good. How you guys doing?
Man, we're doing.
I cannot complain. You know what? I love it when the day goes as planned. And when we talk about transportation, you know what? It typically goes how we have it planned, right? In trucking, trucks never break down. We never have technology issues in trucks or in equipment. All right, but Drive Safe Dave, I'm just going to jump in on this one right here. What is the news that we keep reading about and hearing about everywhere now? It doesn't matter. Fox, CNN, ESPN, Ottawa, dude. Is that city just shut down or what?
Yeah, it started as a support movement, and now I'm not too sure how to label it. I try and stay pretty neutral on the topic, but yeah, it is everywhere up here in Canada, where I'm based out of Alberta, so a couple provinces west. And yeah, we have different blockades, different convoys, which I really support, obviously, the trucking industry. I'm mindful of other individuals that have partaken in something that was supposed to be really good. So that part's a little tough, especially what's happening in Ottawa. I don't think that's a true representation of the transportation industry or what the initial mission was. But yeah, it is it's a different type of buzz right now up here for sure.
Yeah, I tell you, first of all, I want to know, you're like at 50-something degrees up there right now in Fahrenheit, which is up there where you are. You got some kind of like a garbouche or it's some drink you get at Starbucks with a shot of espresso. What's it called?
It's funny, I pulled up a weather calculator after we talked earlier, but yeah, it's a Chinook. So basically, it's a helicopter that's bringing hot air up here. So.
Yeah, that's pretty warm up there for you guys.
55 degrees up there. Yeah. It's all those trucks that are idling right now. That's what it is. Global warming is truly happening right now up in Canada.
So I'll tell you, it's kind of morphed into this other thing than what it was initially set out as some truck drivers going up to protest this COVID thing. And I think a lot of people have joined the bandwagon with all of their own little flags, right? Josh, it's morphed into this insane deal y'all got going up there, kind of like not just trucking, it's everybody. Everybody's getting involved.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's the part where we have to be mindful of, okay, what was the initial goal? And I think it was for our industry, like the trucking industry and transportation industry, professional drivers, they've not stopped, as we're all aware. And pandemic or not, it doesn't matter. We're still rolling 24/7. So I think the initial wave of support was incredible. And I think the hum that was within industry was incredible. But yeah, when other individuals and parties that are a little more self-serving are partaking, that totally defeats the mission. And I don't think that's the image and or the outcome that anyone in industry was really hoping for. I think it was more so, let's be unified, let's show the strength of our industry. But let's also talk about, like, Thank the Trucker movement was huge up here when the pandemic first happened as well. And it was another opportunity initially to really celebrate the profession and not so much focus on the politics. And yeah, now I think it's a little too far.
Yeah, but when we think about that, I mean, it was a year and a half ago, I guess almost 2 years ago now, when the truckers, we all looked at them as the heroes, and they still are, right? They're the ones that are moving us through this thing. They kept this country going. It's kind of getting a little jaded right now, and I think that a lot of folks are getting a black eye on that trucking industry, and I think it's for the wrong reasons, because it's not the truckers that are doing that. There's a lot of things going on out there, right? But here in the stateside, you know what? Let me tell you, the COVID was a real struggle, and we're seeing the protest up there. I'm wondering what's going to happen on that. Can your opinion on that? Or what you're hearing up there? Do you think that anybody's going to cave in on this?
Politically, I mean, I think.
Yeah, politically, yeah, that's a really good question. It's honestly a really tough question too. I think from an industry perspective, there's an opportunity to be way more supportive and understanding what people are going through. And ultimately, some people are fed up, and everyone has the freedom to choose. It's just from a political standpoint, I don't think it's the right way to try and force anything. I don't think that's why we live in free nations, is say, hey, I'm going to force this issue. So from a political standpoint, I'm going to leave that to the political experts. My personal opinion, I hope that we can turn the page, though, and keep it really positive, just as a reflection of who industry or who's working in industry and not so much, the other ulterior motives.
Yeah, I know, and I look at it, and as we go back, it was to shine a light on a particular topic, and it is grown out of control. I will tell you that I hope that nothing, usually, and I historically, something tragic happens, and then these things lose their genuine focus. I don't want that to happen. We even had a guy drive through one of the demonstrations with an automobile and run over a couple of people. Thank God nobody was seriously injured, but these things tend to. So a black eye gets happened for some reason after they lose control.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen in case they lose focus of the true purpose of the mission. But you know what? Y'all are in the news. Y'all are leading off stories. I want y'all to know that Canada's in the news in the U.S. Y'all are kind of a central focus of what's going on. Where we see these, and I don't know if you have images right now of those long lines, producer, of on the bridges in Ottawa and also crossing over there. Have you seen those where they're shutting down the borders? I mean, that's pretty serious stuff. I mean, here we are. That right there is that's a backlog.
It almost looks like the bridge coming from Mexico over to the United States on a daily basis. But no, this is not Mexico. This is the Canada, right? It's a blockade that's happening and frustrations going on.
Yeah, and not only that, it definitely, look at that. I mean, you talk about dump trucks galore. I mean, you got everybody involved in this, and we're just wanting to know what's going to happen. We want to see where the shoe falls, and we do appreciate you letting us know what you see and what you know going on up there. Keep us informed, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the first time I saw part of the convoy, it wasn't even the main vein. It was emotional. And my wife and I, we've been involved in the industry our entire lives. Like my father-in-law, shout out to him. He's been an over-the-road driver longer than I've actually been alive. So for me, just being an advocate for our industry, and it was easily over 100 commercial vehicles with flags and air horns going, I was touched. I'm like, okay, there is a huge community here, knowing that obviously as you see different footage. And yeah, I think the blockade itself is tough. Part of it's congestion, part of it is the mandate, but part of it is just ignorance and the wrong people doing the wrong thing. So it's really hard to keep it positive when there is some negatives. But yeah, it's really, honestly, it was really emotional. I got like teary-eyed when I was driving past it because it was like, okay, you don't see that type of support very often. You don't see that type of community very often. And yeah, that was really nice to see, as long as it kind of remains in that space. But I really do hope that it leads to something positive. And
yeah, I do like that picture you paint of the community. I do like that picture, that story you tell about how impressed you are and how it does make a difference to you when you see these guys come together like that and like they are, under a common purpose. I don't want to.
But we also, let's talk about this for a brief second. That GoFundMe, it's not going to go to the truckers. They've already said that, right? Shutting that down. So if you have the opportunity, if you're one of those that have donated or thinking about donating for this cause, don't go to GoFundMe. It's not going to go to the truckers. What's the story on that up in Canada? What are you hearing on that?
Yeah, I was told that, and this is just through what I read, and a friend of mine owns a news station here, and a news publication, not a station, sorry. And yeah, basically they shifted the definition, and because of the shift of the definition, the funds wouldn't be released. How 100% accurate that is, again, word of mouth is only so accurate, depending how long the telephone game is. But when it feels political, when the intent, I believe, initially was really to help, that's really tough. And there's some people that join the entire convoy that are running out of fuel and don't have money to actually put fuel in their truck. Okay, that's where the funds, from my understanding, were supposed to be allocated to.
Yeah.
And that side of it is really difficult. But once it gets political, that's when it's tough, and that's when who's being told to do what. How do they change a definition within not even a week? That's really confusing. And from an industry advocate side, I would love to know why. Like, why did that happen? Without, getting too political on the issue at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories on that, and a lot of it is going to go into that political side. What was the reasoning for that? And that's for another show. But when we look at the different channels, I want to talk about this. So have you been, or do you know anybody that's been downtown or in Ottawa, waiting for that? And when I hear the news, they talk about, I'm going to ask this, they talk about the horn blowing, and you know, it depends what station you watch. Be like, it's just horns blowing. They don't. I was like, come on now. Air horns are a little different than your normal horn.
Are a little different.
What are they blowing? Are they blowing the air horns? They just like hitting that little horn right there.
Yeah, having air horns going the whole night and you're trying to sleep, that would be tough. But from boots on the ground perspective and mingling with people, that would just be emotional. And yeah, she's done a good job reporting on that.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, maybe we can, you know, can you send us that link there? Maybe we can get her on. Maybe we can get on an interview on Boots on the Ground to have her, you know, a real life, you know,
reporter.
Drive Safe Dave. I mean, he's our Washington insider. You'll see him many times.
We would love an insider in Ottawa, right? We would love to be able to talk. You think that'd be a great opportunity for us to at least get a chance to discuss with her, or even maybe even doing an interview right there on the ground in Canada?
Yeah. I'll once we're off, I'll definitely connect some dots for sure.
All right.
Good stuff, man. Hey, Josh, I want to thank you. Sorry about the technology. You know what?
This is 2 times.
This
is twice on you.
I feel like Josh, like, you know what? Y'all get one more chance. You know, my time is way too valuable to have these hiccups. And I can tell you that here's the funny.
It's all good.
The funny thing is, I think this only happens with Josh.
Yeah, Josh, you're the express. I mean, I don't know if you're the trick or the treat. We're not sure, but I'll tell you, it's only happened to you like this.
You just called him a trick
or treat.
Okay.
I mean, trick or treat. I mean, you know.
Hey, Josh, I want to thank you so much for being on. Thank you for being on BCB Live, buddy. We appreciate that. Hey, Josh, before you get out of here, we're going to have you say it again in case we missed it last time. Say your name and say BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Josh Hannaberry, BCB Live, the safest nation in the safest station in the nation.
All right, we'll tag it.
Got it.
All right, man, we appreciate you.
All right, good stuff there, man. We appreciate Josh. So, you know, what a great contact that is. Somebody north of us, right? Somebody, you know, because we're good on this side. We got Washington handled right here. But up in Ottawa, we need somebody up there.